Welcome back to Mouthing Off with Mike, the only wrestling podcast that might be higher than the elevation in Denver, Colorado. And we're talking about Denver because we're talking about NXT No Mercy this Sunday from the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. This is Mouthing Off with Mike, and these are my NXT No Mercy predictions. Let's get into them. Welcome back into Mouthing Off with Mike. And yes, you heard the intro. We're talking a little NXT No Mercy in Denver, Colorado. We've got 6 matches at the time of this recording. As you know, if anything's added, hit me up on social media at MOWM_podcast. But let's go ahead and take a look at the first match. The first match will see Kalani Jordan defend her NXT North American Women's Championship against Wendy Choo, who is, I guess, got a sleep paralysis demon that she's battling right now as she's possessed by such. We've seen Wendy Choo come with a more darker presentation, a more spooky presentation than we've ever seen with her, and she has her eyes set on Kalani Jordan and her NXT North American Women's Championship. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, that Kalani Jordan will retain her NXT North American Women's Championship at NXT No Mercy. Simple as that. It'll be a good match, but I don't see Kalani Jordan dropping that title just yet. Former brothers, former tag team partners, former members of the Rascals, Zachary Wentz, TNA superstar, will take on NXT and WWE superstar Wes Lee after Wes Lee turned his back on his best friends. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Wes Lee and Zachary Wentz are finally going to go one-on-one in the ring to determine and to settle this beef. Well, we saw after losing the NXT Tag Team Championship match against Axiom and Nathan Frazier a couple weeks, we saw Wes Lee completely snap. Now, Wes Lee was almost about to retire from wrestling, and Wentz and Trey Miguel came on over to NXT from TNA, breaking the internet, breaking our minds, and hopping through that prohibited portal, only for Wes Lee to turn his back on those who cared for him the most. An unfortunate cycle here when it comes to tag teams in professional wrestling. And fortunately for us, I should say, it makes some compelling professional wrestling. Wentz and Wes Lee are going to go out there. They're going to do the damn thing. They're probably going to put on a hell of a match. This is a sleeper match here on the card. But I got to give the win to my man Wes Lee. If we're gonna double down on Wes Lee as a heel, he needs to beat Zachary Wentz in the most heelish way possible. Maybe a low blow, maybe he grabs the tights, maybe he hits him with a weapon without the referee noticing, but Wes Lee needs to win in heel fashion. Give me Wes Lee to win. You heard me say that Wes Lee and Zachary Wentz came short when it came to winning the NXT Tag Team Championship. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Chase U fellas of Ridge Holland and Andre Chase did not, when they defeated Axiom and Nathan Frazier about 2 weeks ago on NXT to become 2-time NXT Tag Champs. Well, the former champs, they've got a rematch clause in their contract. So Axiom and Nathan Frazier will fight for their NXT Tag Team Championships that they just lost against Chase U in this rematch. But I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this will be an incredible match. But Chase U, the U, is not losing the tag titles just yet, I don't believe. I think it happens down the line, but I don't think Axiom and Frazier will recapture them. I think Axiom and Frazier are going to go ahead and head towards the singles division in NXT real quick. Give me the U, baby. Chase U to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. The prodigy Roxanne Perez will defend her NXT Women's Championship against Jada Parker, who outlasted all of the other women in the NXT No Mercy #1 contenders match to take on Roxanne at No Mercy, of course. I think this is going to be a great match. I think what we saw this past week with Roxanne and Jada with this backstage promo, Jada slapped the living shit out of her. But man, oh man, I have more questions than answers when it comes to this feud, because who was the mysterious person that Roxanne and Jada were absolutely rattled by that they saw backstage after this interview had broken down. My bet is probably Stephanie Varcour, maybe Julia, maybe Delta. One of the three, I have a feeling, will be in attendance at No Mercy. And if I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, and you know I like to, I think it's Julia. I think Julia shows up in Denver ringside for this match. But I do not think Jada Parker is ready yet. I think she's an incredible up-and-comer here in the NXT women's division, and I think she'll be on the main roster in due time in a couple years. But I don't think she's ready just yet for the Prodigy. Give me the Prodigy, Roxanne Perez, to retain her NXT Women's Championship in what will probably be a really solid women's match here. Of course, Roxanne the Prodigy, after all, she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world right now at the young age of like 22, 23 years old. So she's younger than me and you, and she's doing the damn thing, and she's going out there and she's putting on match of the year contenders day in and day out when she defends that NXT Women's Championship. So give me the Prodigy and still NXT Women's Champion at No Mercy. You already know what match we're going to talk about right now. Ladies and gentlemen, get the gabagool, leave the gun, take the cannoli, because we got the Don, Tony D'Angelo, going up against the ruler, Oba Femi, and the current NXT North American champion. The Don versus the ruler. Put it on the marquee. Put it in the brightest lights you got. This is going to be an absolute hoss fight. We got two big meaty men bumping meat. God, the mana, the vibes. Listen, I tweeted about it, talked about it with Sean on the Nightcap this past Tuesday. I'm delusional, so I can't be unbiased here, but I'm telling you right now, the Don, Tony D'Angelo, will beat Oba Femi and be the first one to pin him and to dethrone him from that NXT Championship throne, because I think it's time for Oba Femi to move on to the NXT Championship picture. Oba has done great work for the NXT North American Championship. He has been one of the top champions up to this point in NXT, a top North American champion in history. I think it's time for him to move on to brighter things. I don't think there's anybody on that roster, believability-wise, that could beat Oba Femi. And after what we saw on NXT a couple weeks ago with the Don picking up Oba, hitting him with a spine buster, he proved, and he said it, that Oba Femi is human. Give me the Don as the new NXT North American champion. Ladies and gentlemen, get the gabagool, because the celebration is going to take place Sunday night on the No Mercy Nightcap on Boom Broadcasting. I'm going to wear my best gold chain. I'm going to have my hair nice and slicked back like I usually do. I'm going to be throwing Italian hands all night all over your screen. The Don, the new North American champion. That's it at the end of the day. Give me the Don. We've made it, ladies and gentlemen. We've made it to the main event, most likely of NXT No Mercy, which will see current NXT champ, all ego, Ethan Page, defend his title against Joe Hendry. Ladies and gentlemen, say his name and he'll appear. Say his name and he'll appear. He keeps appearing in NXT. He beat Pete Dunne. He beat Wes Lee to get this number one contender spot against Ethan Page. So we're going to see a WWE roster member against the TNA roster member for an WWE championship. We haven't seen it since Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez. We didn't see it since Tatum Paxley went over to TNA to challenge Jordan Grace for the for the Knockouts Women's Championship. Ethan Page and Joe Hendry, this is going to be great. These guys have parallels, right? Both TNA guys. One's a former TNA guy, Ethan Page. One's a current TNA guy, Joe Hendry. And to throw a wrench in the plans for all ego Ethan Page, Ava, our amazing GM of NXT, decided to make it a special guest referee match. And ladies and gentlemen, who's that special guest ref? Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Trick Williams. Well, folks, Ethan Page beat Trick Williams for that title. Trick Williams is friends with Joe Hendry. This could go either way. I'm a little split here. Do they put a title on a TNA roster member? If I'm WWE, if I'm Shawn Michaels, I do it. Even for 1 month, even for 2 months, do it. It all depends on what happens. Then again, we have an NXT superstar and Trick Williams as the special guest ref. Well, maybe he's friends with Joe Hendry, but maybe he also feels that he should get this match. Because why would a TNA roster member get an NXT championship match? He never got a rematch for this title. Trick Williams being the special guest referee is the wild card in this match. I personally think Trick turns heel. We talked about it, myself and Sean, on the Nightcap Tuesday. Sean thinks Joe Hendry is going to win this this NXT, I'm all screwed up, this NXT championship. I would not be surprised if they did it, but I think Ethan Page wins. I think Trick Williams turns heel, and I think you got to go Trick and Joe Hendry in a battle of whoop that Trick and We Believe, the two most over chants in NXT right now. And still, NXT champion, all ego, Ethan Page is my pick. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a busy weekend of wrestling. I already dropped my Bash in Berlin predictions. You can find them on my YouTube channel. If you want to go back and watch any of the nightcaps from this week, they're on Boom Broadcasting. We will be live Friday night on Boom Broadcasting for the SmackDown nightcap, Saturday afternoon after Bash in Berlin for the day cap, and of course Sunday night for NXT No Mercy and the nightcap after that. So, like I said, for the Bash in Berlin predictions, you guys got me every night of the week this week, plus next week as well. So, a lot of mouthing off with Mike. So, I appreciate everybody for watching, for viewing, for listening on the audio side, for commenting, for interacting. I greatly appreciate all the support. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an incredible weekend of pro wrestling, and the party don't stop because next week we got more wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mouthing Off with Mike. These have been my NXT No Mercy predictions. Let's go out there and have a hell of a weekend with pro wrestling. See you guys.